At the heart of the Cogniac system are applications. Applications are used to process media and surface detections. Some of these can be for detecting subjects or items of interest within imagery, all the way down to media transformation, such as relighting. We're going to go through some common application creation techniques and show you how they work. So you can see here on the main page, each of these icons represents a different type of application. On the far left, we have a couple of examples of network cameras. These are used to retrieve imagery and process them through different types of applications. One of those is a detection application, which is looking for vehicles, and then that is passing into a classification application, which is identifying the different type of vehicle. Let's walk through the process of creating an application. You click the Create Application button. The first thing you need to do is give it a name. So I'm going to create a cracks detection application where I have some generic media that I can upload and show you how it is fairly simple to get it processed and start boxing the different types of subjects that you're looking to detect. The different types of subject detection apps are listed here, and we're going to go through a detection with bounding boxes example. The input subject we're going to use is going to be one of random images that I had created previously. You could also create and attach a brand new input subject where it could be a repository for random images that you want to supply. Click Next. The output subjects for a detection with bounding boxes are pretty straightforward. So on this one, I'm going to call it cracks detected. And what we're going to do in a bounding box application is actually train the computer to draw boxes around the subject or the item of interest in each media item that it processes. So I'm going to create one called cracks detected, click complete, and I've set up my first application. This is the shell, so everything will be completely empty to start. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into settings, and this is where you can change your name, add a description. The description is helpful if it's a fairly complex application where you want to give instructions to users providing feedback, so there's no ambiguity. You can make these as detailed as you like. The different release metrics calculate the performance of the model, and that will be gone over at a different time. You can see when it was created, the type of application, a random ID that gets created, and then kind of the stuff that you set up initially. You can always change things at any point once your application is created. A couple of notes. If you change your output subjects, these are the things that you're classifying in the media that is being processed. It will reset the performance counter because it's going to have to take into consideration new output subjects. Detection thresholds are the minimum probability level for a specific item to be detected. So if you're going to set up a post or a listening callback URL to have immediate notification sent when we detect that type of item, this is the probability minimum level. So 50%. As long as we think it's above 50% that that item exists, a detection will be forwarded. I'm going to go ahead and replay some of these items in the random subject. So this will generate 25 items, and I'm going to say force feedback. This is going to present each of those media items, those 25, to the user, to me, to provide labeling on those. And we'll kind of walk through the labeling process is pretty straightforward. You'll see now I've got 25 items here. I've got 0 performance and no consensus media yet. I have nothing that has run across the model yet. But once I start providing feedback and labeling, you'll see how easy this is to do. Now, in this example, this is kind of an example of stone or granite, and we might be looking for a defect in it, such as a crack. These are random images, so some have cracks, some do not, and we're going to train the application very quickly to pull those out. So you can see here there's no crack detected or no crack visible, so there's nothing to label, so I'm going to click Confirm. Same thing here. I've got another example of a fairly undamaged granite or stone piece, so there's no crack there. I'm just going to go through a few of these until I find an obvious crack, which then we will begin labeling. So here's an example of one, and I'm just going to draw a box around that item. Now this is telling the system to assume that anything within that bounding box is the item of interest I'm looking for, and anything outside is not. If you had multiple items, you could drag a box around each of those on the screen. I only have the one, so I'm going to click confirm. I'm going to process these until I've labeled as many as I can find in the set of feedback that I'm provided. You want to keep the boxes as tight as possible around the actual item of interest. So a little bit of leeway on either side is good, but don't make the box too large. Make sure it's only constraining the items inside that you're looking for. So you can see I finished all of those 25, and now it's presenting me with other applications to provide feedback on, and I could go through and provide feedback on all of those as well. Now back at the actual app itself, if I refresh, I should actually see that I actually have some media here that's now labeled. These are examples of consensus-driven items. I have provided feedback on those, and I have labeled those boxes. That's why there's a check for consensus and 100%. You will see also back at the main app screen, you'll see the input subject was the random images feeding into a cracks detection app and providing output media or labeled data on the output subject.